Pac-10 Sports Talk. This segment, we're going to talk about the BCS Bowl games, and that's it, just BCS Bowl games. First game I want to talk about, the Fiesta Bowl. UConn is playing Oklahoma. Joel, you have anything to say about this?
Hope so.
Not a really compelling matchup here. And you can't, a lot of people are knocking UConn. Of course, I believe they're deserving to be in the BCS game? No, but let's not knock UConn. Let's knock the system, because it is the system that puts them in there. But this year, yeah, the Big East is severely down. And should they be playing Oklahoma in this game? I don't think so. So it's kind of hard to create a compelling story on trying to make it look like they have a chance here. The only chance they do have is that Oklahoma's overlooking them. Maybe a couple years ago in the Fiesta Bowl, I think Oklahoma overlooked Boise State. We know how that one turned out. And as a UConn fan, you've got to be hoping that they're just overlooking you and thinking that they're just going to tear you apart. Also for UConn, if you have any chance in this game, Todman is going to, who was second in the NCAA in rushing yards, is going to have a monster game. You're going to have to eat up clock a lot to keep the ball away from Oklahoma's potent offense. For Oklahoma, their offense, which is their fourth in passing yards, their Landry Jones has over 4,000 yards passing, 35 touchdowns. They have a receiver with over 1,400 yards receiving, and of course you have DeMarco Murray, one of the best running backs in the nation. So what does that equal? That equals blowout! And I'm going to go 42-17 Oklahoma.
Well, I kind of agree with that. You're surprised, aren't you? Yeah, I actually feel a little bit sorry for Oklahoma fans that got this matchup. I thought they deserved better. Not to say anything bad about you fans out there at Connecticut. Great matchup for you guys. A fun, great time to prove your wares, if you want to say that. However, I don't see it happening. I see Oklahoma 34-19.
Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's not going to happen. Oklahoma's just going to take them down, and I see it a little bit more like 45-12.
Well,
they're going to get some field goals in, I mean, they're bound to get close enough for that.
Sorry, Connecticut fans.
Okay, let's talk about the Sugar Bowl. Arkansas playing Ohio State. Jack, where's this game going to go?
Well, unless you're from another planet, you've probably heard that this game has been marred by some Ohio State players being suspended. The NCAA says that the Naughty Five, they can play in the bowl game, but they have to set out the first 5 games next year. On the other hand, Jim Tressel said, no, my players aren't going to play in the Arkansas game either. And then he said they are going to play in the Arkansas game. But in any case, selling a championship ring for money, or selling any gifts that they get for money may be an NCAA violation, but it's a gift that the kids were given, and it's their property, and they should do with it what they want to do. And especially given the fact that these young men are struggling to meet their football obligations, their grade obligations, trying to find enough money to buy meals with outside of what the team provides. And if a coach spends $10 because he feels sorry for a player not eating well, that's an NCAA violation. And this is an issue that shouldn't be an issue. But enough said. Back to the game.
Getting political on us here.
Arkansas, they've won their last 6 games. They're on a kind of a roll right now, and arguably this is going to be, in Ryan Mallett, this is going to be the best quarterback that Ohio State's faced all year. On the other hand, my apologies to Alabama, but Ohio State will be the best defense Arkansas has faced all year. Ohio State's lost 1 game, that game being to Wisconsin, a team that's put up 70 points on or more 3 different times. But Ohio State held Wisconsin to 336 yards. So Ohio State can play defense. And in the end, I think with this Tressel's, this last hurrah at this game, I think the players are going to want to give them a farewell present, and I think they will. I'm going to predict Ohio State 32, Arkansas 31 by the narrowest of margins.
So I think with the, as you call them, the Naughty Five, I think the distractions are going to play a part of this. But even if that weren't the case, I do like Arkansas in this game. I just like Arkansas's offense, and I do agree that Ohio State will definitely be, that's not a knock against Ohio State, because Ohio State's a great team, and it will be the best defense that they face. But what I like about Arkansas is you're never really out of the game with Ryan Mallett. You can be down by 14, even more, and with his arm, within a play or two, you're back in the game. If Ohio State gets down, it's much more difficult for them to come back. I do like Arkansas in this one, in a close one, but I do like it 30-24.
Shut your mouth.
This is really tough. What you talking about, Dennis? This is a tough call in this game.
This is an Ohio State game. It's 28-21 for sure.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on to the Rose Bowl. TCU playing Wisconsin.
Well, if you're a purist of college football, then you're probably not liking this matchup to seeing anyone besides a Pac-10, Big Ten type matchup. And both these teams are playing for a lot. You have a Wisconsin team that is on fire and arguably one of the hottest teams in the nation now, who I think wants to show the nation that, you know what, we are one of the best teams, if not the best teams in the nation. And if there was a playoffs, we would prove that. And you got TCU that I think that they're trying to stand up for the little guy, your Boise States of the world, to show that we do belong in this. And we should have maybe even belonged in the national championship game. Mm-hmm. So a lot at stake here. You got TCU who kind of ended the year after beating Utah. They kind of ended the year a little bit struggling on offensively, struggling against San Diego State in their last game. You have Wisconsin, who in the last month, like you said, was on a roll, scoring 70, 80 points against Indiana, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And so will Wisconsin keep that roll going? If there's any team that could stop them, it would be TCU. I do buy into their team speed, and I do think that they will create problems for Wisconsin. But I just think offensively, TCU doesn't have enough firepower because I do think they're going to go against a strong Wisconsin defense. But Wisconsin just has too many weapons and they're clicking too much. I assume the roll will keep going, and I see them winning 34-24. But with that said, I do see this as a tight game up to the fourth quarter, where I think Wisconsin and their big running backs and that big offensive line will start wearing down TCU, and that's when they start getting a little out of hand.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Well, I gotta say, I agree with everything you said. I think this is the big boy team versus the little boy team. The matchup people all year long have been waiting to see if these little, teams that don't deserve to be there supposedly can match up with the big boys. So, so they have a lot to prove in this game, and but I don't think they get it done. I agree with Joel. I think it'll be a good game for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters. I think Wisconsin wears them down in the end. I see it 34-26.
Wow.
Wisconsin.
Donovan, what do you think?
I'm outside you guys. I'm rooting for TCU in this game, and I'm thinking it's going to be 37-27.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pushing for TCU.
Wow.
Hey.
Trying to piece that fan base, I guess.
All right. All right, let's move on to the Orange Bowl right now. We've got Stanford, Pac-10 school, playing Virginia Tech.
Well, this was a matchup of teams with great offenses, great defenses, great special teams play, great quarterbacks, and great mascots. You got the Hokies and the Trees. It's also a matchup of teams on streaks. Virginia Tech has won their last 11 games. Stanford's won their last 7. Virginia Tech has won their last 2 bowl games. Stanford's lost their last 3 bowl games. But Stanford has the great equalizer in their quarterback, Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Most people are saying that Andrew Luck is probably going to be the first quarterback picked in the upcoming draft. He's a guy that completes passes in the 70% range. His coach, Jim Harbaugh, says that his football IQ is just off the charts. The way he analyzes opposing defenses, his decision-making abilities, and the fact that he puts the ball where nobody but a guy in a Cardinal shirt can catch the ball. On the other hand, he's going to have to be right on the money. He's going to have to be accurate because the Virginia Tech defense leads the nation in turnover margin with 18, and they picked off more passes, 22, than any other BCS team in the nation. So he's going to have to be careful. I think it's not going to be easy by any means by Stanford, but I think Stanford gets the job done. I'm picking the Cardinal 37-31.
And you mentioned that the Hokies do a good job on turnover margin.
Yes.
But so does Stanford. They're number 1 and number 2 in turnover margin. Mm-hmm. So this game could come down to a fumble, pick-off, what have you. But I just think that I do like Stanford in this game. I think it's going to be luck is what it's hard to go against that guy. And I'm going to go in a close one, but I'm going to go 37-31.
Wow.
Wait a minute. That's what I said.
Did you say 37?
I said 37-31.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in agreement.
Look, I think that was sorry. I was paying attention to the score.
Okay, so we can rally around this game.
We're right on.
I picked Stanford too.
37-31?
No, 38-22. Let's do that.
Job,
Give me.
fully like you guys.
Don't look for 16 to 15.
Yeah.
Okay, gosh, I think that's all the BCS bowl games to talk about, right?
No more.
No, there's no more. Oh, wait, there's one more.
Oh, there's that one.
Yeah, there's that one.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The Natty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people.
Who's playing? Oh, Oregon versus Auburn.
Pac-10.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah. Well, you may not know, a little fun fact, this is the first time since the BCS has been about, for 13 years, you've never had, in a BCS game, you never had a Pac-10 team versus an SEC team. So this is a first for that. And you've got, Heisman Trophy candidates. Of course, Newton won it, but you had LaMichael James. So you've got some great players, and you got some of the best offenses in here. You've got Auburn, who's 6th in rushing, versus Oregon, who's 4th in rushing. And on scoring offense, you got Oregon, who's number 1, versus Auburn, who's number 6. So I kind of broke it down on this game on between offense, defense, and special teams, who I like better. So on offense, I'm going to say, although Cam Newton's a special player and the best player in the nation, I'm going to give the offensive advantage to Oregon. I think they're more complete. They can beat you with the pass and the run. I think they have more weapons offensively. Defensively, I'm going to give the nod to Auburn on this one. I think their front seven it's a difference maker. I think their front seven is better than Oregon, but I would say that Oregon is very opportunistic and does create turnovers. But special teams, I have to give the edge back to Oregon, and that's not even close in my book, with the kickoff return, and then you got Cliff Harris on punt return, who leads the nation in punt return touchdowns and yardage. Overall, to me, I think that Oregon will be opportunistic on defense. I think they will create a fumble. Not that you can contain Newton, but I think they'll do enough. And I think offensively they'll create fits. And I know I keep hearing from SEC fan on how are you going to react to Farley. Well, there's believe it or not, there's good defensive linemen in the Pac-10 as well. And I think it's not like they don't.
Not very many though.
Yeah, but I think that Oregon gets this one done close, but I think they get it done 34-31.
All right.
Well, the Tigers are a slight favorite in this game, and the reason is obvious. The Tigers are from the SEC, and the Ducks are play in the league of defensive patsies, the Pac-10. Sure, the Ducks have scored a lot of points against West Coast softies. What's that? They scored 48 points against Tennessee? Oh, that's right. But, Tennessee was in a rebuilding year. Oh, I see. That's the most points anybody has scored against Tennessee this year? Yeah, but, Auburn has this Goliath, Cam Newton, and they have this heat-seeking missile, Nick Fairley, whose job seems to be taking out opposing quarterbacks for the rest of the game. Of course, he's got a few penalties, but he gets the job done. Meanwhile, Oregon must counter with a skinny little pesky kid, quarterback Darren Thomas, 212 pounds, and this undersized defensive tackle, Brandon Bear, 272 pounds. So it's tough to counter all this with and also, Oregon lost the Rose Bowl last year to a similar team, a physical team from Ohio State. This is the kind of stuff I'm hearing from around the message boards around the country. This is what I'm hearing about the Ducks. But here's the dirty little secret. Oregon's not the same team they were last year in the Rose Bowl. Their skinny little quarterback that I talked about isn't a Jeremiah Masoli. He doesn't run maybe quite as good as Jeremiah Masoli, but he's a passer. We haven't had that. We haven't had a deep threat the Ducks haven't had a deep threat for a while. He's thrown 28 touchdown passes against 6 interceptions. By the way, it's the same number that a Heisman Trophy candidate had. Andrew Luck, same numbers. Additionally, Duck defense is heads and shoulders better than it was last year. They lead the Pac-10 conference in rush defense. They're the number 2 in turnover margin with 14. If Kenyon Barner and Cliff Harris get their hands on the ball, they're a threat to take it to the house. And LaMichael James, well, he's not really a slouch either. I think this is a matchup that the whole country really wanted to see. A game they thought was going to be the most entertaining matchup of all. I'm not sure how Nick Aliotti is going to slow down the Auburn offense, but I think he will. It's been historically Aliotti giving enough time against high-powered offenses, physical offenses, comes up with a game plan. And I think he's going to do it again. But like Joel said, look for special teams to play a big part in this game if the Ducks are to win this game. And I see it, the Ducks 44, Auburn 41.
Okay. I think